Hello friend, welcome to my lecture on open educational resources. This is about understanding of open educational resources. So this open educational resources is very important topic in this era of this technology and during the time of online education as well as in the time of MOOCs, massive open online courses. So how to develop the OER and what is open licensing and how to create, how to search the OER content. So we'll talk about all these different facts in this lecture and in coming lectures also. So today I am introducing what is OER. So basically the OER, Open Educational License, Open OER, Open Educational Material or Repository. So this is a combination of 5R, means retain, reuse, revise, remix, and redistribute. So open license means the material of open license which can be retained by its owner, and the owner can reuse it, and he can revise it, he or she can revise it, remix it, and redistribute any content. If any content which is under OER, open license, so that content can be retained, reused, remixed, revised, and redistribute. Means we have all the right about that content. So no permission required as long as the open license is respected. So in case of the open licensing, we don't need any license, and we don't have any restriction, and we don't need to take any permission for reusing, for retaining, revising, remixing, and redistributing. So we have different category under this OER. So we'll discuss in the later classes, later lectures. So first of all, I am going towards some background detail of this OER, open licensing. So how we have started, you can see in this by this slide, and we you can see the scenario. What is the scenario of the education in India? Basically, in India, India having huge population and huge education infrastructure. As per the survey of 2019 of AISCG, the country had 993 universities and around 40,000, means 39,931 around, and colleges are there in India as per the survey of 2000 up to the 2019, and around 10,725 other standalone technical institutions. So I have taken this data from the AISSE, All India Survey of Higher Education 2019. So this is the infrastructure of education in India. So we will first of all we will see the background. We'll see the structure of education in India. Then we'll go on the OER, how OER is important in this scenario. So the total enrollment in higher education has been estimated around 37.4 million till 2019. So around 37 million, 37 to 38 million students are enrolled till the time. So it's a huge infrastructure. So we have been huge infrastructure. We have been huge amount of learner which are learning in the colleges, in the university. So we are moving towards online and towards OER. So some other facts are related to this higher education. Learner in higher education mainly depend on their institution library. So basically what happened, the learner are depend on the library and photocopy the textbooks and photocopy the course material as well as. So we have different physical medium. By these medium we copy the material, and we use that material. We develop our notes as well as prepare our notes. So overall learner in general education is about 17 to 27% of their personal expenditure on textbook. So we can say, so around this is estimated, and it is the estimate that the 17 to 27% personal expenditure they are doing on textbook, while learner of the professional education they spend 9 to 11%, because they have other medium also. They are familiar with online education and other MOOCs classes. So that's why they are not doing more expenses on textbooks, but the traditional student are doing more expenses on the textbooks. So this is somehow, this is the scenario, this is the picture, and viewing this picture, then we will move towards this online platform and how important this online important. I want to show this picture to you. So fact of higher education in rural area spend more on textbooks than urban area, and because urban area students are more advanced, they know the online medium. So they but the rural area, there in rural area there is no connectivity, there is no online resources there. So that's why they are doing more on textbooks. And on the other hand, due to the financial constraint or engagement in economic activities, 54.6% of the male learner and 64% of the female learner, they are discontinuing their studies. And in rural area, this percentage will higher than this urban area. They are discontinuing, means they are not having good resources, means good resources for the learner, their textbooks, their books, and other things also. Money also a constraint. So due to the financial constraints and other constraints, they are not continuing their education. So this is one more scenario. And on an average, learner in general education spend over 2 billion rupees annually to purchase textbooks. This is also a fact. So cumulatively in whole India, if we compare, if we combine the amount, then it is around 2 billion rupees. Maybe some percentage of higher or lesser. So calculated, this is calculated on the basis of average. So there are some more facts that 25% of the expenditure in this category is for textbook, as well as according to NSS data, the education spent 2,300 rupee annually on textbook per each student, on stationery, uniform, transportation, private coaching. So they are spending around 2,000, 3,000, 2,000 to 3,000 rupees annually, around approximately this much amount they are spending on their textbook, stationery, uniform, transportation, private coaching. And there are 37 million learners in higher education. So 70% are in traditional or general education. So this comes 19,158 lakh rupees. So that much amount we are spending on textbook, on stationery, and other material. So you can see this is the very huge amount, and that huge amount we are spending on textbook, this physical medium, this books, uniform, and bags, etc. So after seeing this picture, internet is game changer. It seems that internet is a game changer, because while the time we are not using internet, so we are spending that much amount on different expenditure, on stationery, on books, and etc. So, but if we have started the internet, then this expenses or expenditure will, the amount of the expenditure will be reduced, and it will go down. So, availability of the educational resources changing the worldwide due to the increasing access to the internet and emergence of the open courseware movement, leading UNESCO coined open educational resources in 2002. So first time UNESCO has coined the term open educational resources, that is OER. As we are talking open licensing, so OER, open educational resources, different resources of the open education. So this term is coined in 2002 by the UNESCO after the internet. So this is game changer, because somehow this is helpful to reduce these expenses, this huge expenditure on this education. So then I'm coming on the definition of this OER. So OER basically, this you can see here the first point. OER is teaching. The definition of OER is teaching, learning, and research material in any medium, digital or otherwise, that reside in public domain or have been released under open license. Open license means this is free to all. Anybody can take this material, this digital material from public domain, and he can use, he can reproduce it, and he can modify it. So this is very important. So that permit no cost tax, no cost access. So there is no cost. This is free to all, and this is its access is free to all. Its use is free to all, and adoption and redistribution by others with no limited restriction. So this is OER. So anything which is in the form of digital and which is on public domain and having open license and with no cost, without any restriction to use it, so this is OER. So open license is built within the existing framework of the intellectual property rights as defined by the relevant international convention and respect the authorship of the work. So I have given here the open licensing is free, and freely anybody can use it, and its cost is there is no cost of this tax material, and its adoption and redistribution, everything is free, and everybody can redistribute it, and there is no restriction, without any no or limited restriction we can redistribute it, but it is under the law of intellectual property right. So we have international and national IPR, intellectual property right. So but OVR never violate the rules of this intellectual property right. So this is, but this is free. So how it is free? So we will discuss about this in this lecture, or in the coming lecture also. So it follow, we are always follow the open licensing, means open licensing is always follow the intellectual property right, IPR. So patent, and you know the patent, you know the copyright. So it follow these rules, but it is free for all, and everybody can reuse it, redistribute it. So again I am coming on same slide, where I have given its open license used to share educational material, and this educational material can reuse, it can retain by the owner, and revise, remix, redistribute. We have all the rights. We can retain it, we can reuse it, we can revise it, we can remix it, and we can redistribute. So there is no copyright violation in case of the OER content. So the permission, no permission required as long as to open licensing is respected. So this is the major benefit of this open licensing, means the OER content can be retained, can be reused, remixed, revised, and redistributed. So these all are the benefit to the user. So this is for the user. So retain means the right to make, own, and control copies of the content. So we can copy the content, we can sell the content of this copy, and this is there is no violation of the rule in case of the OER. And download, duplicate, store, manage, so everything we can do it in case of the OER. And reuse means right to use the content wide range. So we will use the content of the OER in the wide range, and in a class, study group, website, video, everywhere we can send it, we can reuse it, and on social media, on private media, everywhere we can use it. And revise, we can revise the content, we can add anything on the content, to write, to adapt, adjust, modify, alter the content. We can alter these content, and accordingly we will make our content also. So we can for example translate the content into other language. Suppose the content is in English language, and we have to convert it into Hindi language, then we are allowed. So we can revise it, we can revise the content of OER, which is under open licensing, not the copyrighted content. And remix means the right to combine the original or revised content with other open content to create something new. So we can create the new, suppose any song which is which is having OER license, open licensing. So we can remix the song, and we can, after remixing, we can relaunch that song. So but it should be under OER, open licensing. And redistribute right to share the copies of the original content. Your revision, you remix with other and give a copy the content to a friend, so we can send it to our friend, and we can remix it, and we can redistribute it as it is our own content. But it should be the condition in all cases, the condition is the content should be under open licensing. So it should be OER content, and other content cannot be, we cannot use, we cannot retain, we can reuse, we cannot revise, we cannot remix, and we cannot redistribute other content. Only OER content can be, we have been, these five are in case of the OER content. Now the benefit of the OER, the OER content, OER open educational resources are low cost. The benefit of the student, they are very low cost, they are free resources. That's why everyone, that's why everyone can use this content, and students are benefited by this content, and they are easily accessed and customized and relevant. They are customized and relevant, customized according to the student. Suppose the content, suppose some they are redesigned according to engineering student, so they are easy for customize and easy for the engineering student. Opportunity to contribute to OER initiative, so student can also contribute on OER. So these are the benefits of OER for the student. However, for educator culture tailor and share the OER perfectly suit the curriculum. Suppose we have been lots of OER on the Google, so we can cutter and tailor these content, and accordingly we share the OER as per our curriculum, as per our course curriculum. In the Google, they are in the generalized form. In the OER repository, they are in the generalized form. So we can customize them according to our requirement. So this is the benefit for the educator. So because they are freely available, and we don't have to redesign these content, so we can directly take it from OER repository, and then we can distribute it and access. But they are this, the condition is the content are under OER, under open licensing, to access quality peer-reviewed material to enhance the curriculum. So these material, it should be peer-reviewed, and it will enhance the curriculum and increase student retention by reducing cost. So it will obviously it will increase the student retention, because the content, if content will be good, then student will retain to read this content, and it will reduce the cost and increase dialogue with the other peers in the sector globally. So these are the benefits for the educator as well as for student. So I have tried to compile and concise all the facts regarding these OER. So basically the knowledge resources are books, periodicals, audio video medium, online web resources. This may be text, audio, video, graphics, and animation. So most of them are the copyrighted, so we cannot copy these resources directly, and if we are copying, then we have to reference from where we have taken. But in case of OER, directly we can use. So but we have to find out that which type of licensing is there. So under OER we have been different type of licensing. Some of the OER content can be used commercially, and some of them are not used commercially. We can use them fair use. So there is a concept of the fair use also in case of the OER. So these are the benefits of the OER, and how OER can be incorporated into teaching. So you can see these facts, how the OER can be incorporated into teaching. Incorporated learning activities into the class material and reuse digital assets in the learning material. Adapt an open textbook in course reading. So we can use online and digital form textbook on our course material without any license. We can use it without any so directly we can use it if because it is free of cost. So student will more prefer this material also if it is up to the good quality material. So adapt the module in the course structure and involve student to develop the OER textbook. So we can involve the student also and learner also, that they can redevelop their content from the existing content. They can top up some new information on the existing one. So these are the different method how to incorporate this into our teaching and learning. And the popular and OER initiative in India, you can see the list of the different organizations which are using this OER. NPTEL is one of the leading example of the OER initiative. SWAYAM, they are also using OER. A Club, the eGrid, eCourse, eGyan Course, Sakshat, ePathshala, ePG Pathshala, National Repository for Open Educational Resources NROER, and Consortium of the Educational Communication CEC, and National Science Digital Library, Agropedia. They all are different initiative, OER initiative in India, and they are using this OER. And basically SWAYAM is also a OER, open educational resources. However, it is in the form of the video lecture, so but it is under open licensing. So open licensing is the concept. We have been different type of the licensing, so we can use this licensing in audio, video, as well as in text form, textual information. So these are the different things which is related to open educational resources. Now in the next page of this lecture, I am talking about the copyright and open licensing. So basically, first of all, we have to understand the copyright. Copyright means, suppose we have published a book, so that is copyrighted. Suppose this is a book. Suppose I have written this book, and this book is under copyright of the Bharati Publication. Its publisher is the Bharati Publication. So it is copyrighted by the Bharati Publication, and I have given my copyright. After filling the copyright form, I have given my copyright to Bharati Publication. Now the copyright is having Bharati Publication, and Bharati Publication will do the will finance it, and he will do the business on this book. He will sell the business, and as per the sale of the business, he will give the share to its author as a royalty. Royalty will be given to the authors. So as per the copyright law. But we are talking about the open licensing. So what is open licensing? We are talking about this fact, and OER, about the OER. So you can see here open licensing, copyright and open licensing. There are two different things. One is copyright and another one is the open licensing. So these two are the different things. So first of all, we have to understand the copyright. So this is the example, that book is the example. In case of the book, we have the copyright of that particular publisher. Publisher having this copyright of particular book, and this copyright is given by the author to the publisher. So copyright exclusively right to, what is copyright? Copyright is an exclusive right given by law to the original creator or author. So original creator or author having the right to get credit, to copy, distribute, license, sell, make economic transaction, to perform. So all the rights are having with the owner of the copyright, author or creator. However, in case of book, the author will give its copyright to publisher, and publisher will make its copy. He will distribute it, license it, and sell. An economic transaction, all the economic transaction will be performed by the publisher. So copyright give only the owner of the right to control their own creation and copy, share, display their own creation. These exclusive rights can be given to another party through agreement. So between the agreement between the author and publisher, so author is giving that right to publisher. So in that case, publisher will business on the book, and he will give the share of this business to the author. So this is basically this is the thing happening in case of the copyright. Now I am coming of the open licensing. So first of all, the term fair use is in copyright. So what is, first of all, we have to learn what is fair use. So fair use is a part of the US copyright law. So this word is coined as per the US copyright law, and that permits limited use of the copyrighted material. So it means, the fair use permits limited use of the copyrighted material without having to the first acquire permission from the copyright holder. So without taking any permission of the copyright holder, person can use, redistribute, and reuse the content of any book, any material which is copyrighted in a limited way under fair use. And now, what is fair use? So now I am defining the fair use. So we have limited permission to use the copyrighted material under the condition of the fair use. So we have to understand fair use. So fair use is a brief excerpt of the copyright material may under certain circumstances quoted verbatim of for purpose such as criticism, news reporting, teaching, research without need for the permission from the payment to copyright holder. So in case of, suppose someone has written a book, suppose we are appreciating that book and criticizing that book, or suppose some news reporter is taking some content from this book and sharing on this his news channel or news media. And for research also, suppose someone taking some part of particular book from for the research. So without need of taking permission, without any permission of that particular person, the news reporter or the researcher can directly use the copyrighted material. So they don't have to take any permission, because they are using they are using that copyrighted material for the fair use. Fair use means they are showing the good things to the public, and they are criticizing the negative things of that book. And but suppose particular person is using that particular book on for the research purpose. So the research purpose will be welfare of the whole society. So this may be fair use. So this is under US copyright law. And now another public domain is another term over here. So public domain, suppose something is on public domain, so that is in that case also we don't have to take any permission. So public domain is a state of being available to public, not subject to copyright. So in that case we don't have to taken right of copyright. So there are three main category of the public domain license. So in case of the public domain license, we can directly use the content. So work that are automatically enter in public domain upon the creation and not and are not copyrightable. If any work which is automatically entered on public domain after creation of its creator, so that should not be copyrightable. उसको हम copyrightable, we cannot say that work as a copyrightable. And number two, work that have been assigned to public domain by their creator. Suppose some creator has directly launched that work on public domain. So this is also called copyrightable. Directly it can be copied from the public domain, because its creator has already given it to public domain. And number three, work that has entered on public domain because copyright of on them has been expired. So copyright having a limit, suppose any book which is published by an author. So after some time, like Ramcharitmanas, so its copyright, Tulsidas has written this book Ramcharitmanas. So now anybody can copy, anybody having its copyright. There is no copyright violation in that case. Anybody can prepare its copies because its time is expired. So basically, I think its time is 10 years. So after the set time, it can be used by anyone, and anyone can copy it and redistribute it. So when the time is expired, then it will be directly automatically will be on public domain. So this is the definition of the public domain. So why consider licensing? So copyright law allow licensing of work. So what is the need of this copyright? What is the need of this licensing? Suppose we have developed any machine, then we have to take its patent, because it's my own creation. That's why I will take its patent. And in case of any book, we will take its copyright. So licensing enable others to use copyrighted work in lawful manner. So I have taken the copyright of my book. So another person will not directly use, and they will use lawful manner. They will take permission from me, and then they will redistribute and reuse the content. And licensing can be economic consideration to free. So licensing it can be ये हो सकती है economic consideration, it can be free, and it seizes the process of the greater use of the distribution of the work. So these are the causes why licensing is important. So now I am coming on the open licensing. Till now we are discussing about the copyright, and we have defined the fair use. What is fair use? Why use is required? And we have I have explained about this public domain also. So the things that automatically will be in public domain if their time is expired, or some creator has already uploaded the content in the public domain, then they are the public domain content, as well as they comes on public domain. So this is also public domain, and fair is also defined here. So now open licensing. What is open licensing? So you can see here there are 6 type of the open Creative Commons license. We can say it Creative Commons. CC means Creative Commons license, or open license also called it open license. So these are the figure of this open license. These are the symbol. We can say logo of this open license. So created common by SA, NC, non-commercial, SA, same alike, and non-derivatives, and non-commercial. So these are the different full form of this licensing. So attribution, share alike, SA means share alike, NC means non-commercial, ND means non-derivative, and attribution. Attribution is also BY means attribution. So Creative Commons, C means Creative Commons. So I will explain all these facts in this lecture also. So first of all, by means by attribution. So Creative Commons license required other who use your work anyway must attribute it. So suppose by is there. Suppose you can see here CC by. So CC Creative Commons by means CC Common Creative Common attribution means by is the attribution. So CC license require other who use your work in any way must contribute it, must reference the work, giving you credit for it the way you request, but not the way that suggest you endorse them or their use of the work. So this is the first one. CC by means in case of suppose my content having this license, this open license. So anybody can use my content, but when he or she will use my content, so he will give credit to me, means he will write on reference that it has taken from me, or it has taken from this journal, or this page number, this volume, and these are the authors of this work. So this is attribution. So in case of attribution, must reference the work. So in case of the attribution, in case of the by, the other user who is using our content, he will must reference the work, giving you credit for it, otherwise he will be penalized. So this is the first one, the way request. And non-commercial, obviously the name indicates it. So in case my content is used by someone else, but he is not commercially using, so it means this non-commercial. Suppose I have given NC right, so you can see here, suppose I have written here CC by NC. CC by NC means non-commercial. So in that case, suppose I have generated any content and I have given this license to this open license to my content. So you can see here, you let other copy. It means we are allowing other to copy, distribute, display, perform, modify, and use our work, use my work for any purpose other than commercially. So he can easily copy my work, distribute my work, display my work, perform and modify my work, uh, and use my work for any purpose other than commercially. So commercially is restricted, but other than commercially, any way he can use my content. And non-derivative. So this one is non-derivative. ND means ND, CC by ND. So this is non-derivative. So it allow others to copy, distribute, display, and perform original copies of your work. So suppose I have given this one. So my original copy of my work can be copied, it can be redistributed and display, perform anything, but he cannot change. The other person will not change. He will distribute my work and he will display my work, perform. He can perform copy of my work. So this is in case of the non-derivative. And share alike. Next is the share alike. Suppose this is the license SA, CC by SA, share alike. So in case of the share alike, you can see here, you let other copy, distribute, display, perform, modify your work. So in case of the share, in case of non-derivative and non-derivative, the others are not allowed to change my content. Only original content can be shared. And in case of the share alike, he can modify also. He has all the right, but he can also modify my work. He can modify my work and he can change it, and he can update the work, and accordingly he can share that work. So as long as they distribute any modified work on same term. So this is the share alike, right? And non-commercial, you already understand. Non-commercial means the other user can do anything on my content, but not commercially. So these are the different licenses, and individually you can see. So in case of the CC by, so you can see here CC and by. So this is the logo of this license. So suppose I have taken this license for my content. So under this license lets others to distribute, remix, tweak, and build upon our work, even commercially. So in this case, it can be commercially used by others, as long as they credit you, as long as they credit you for the original creation. So commercially, even commercially, we have written here, even commercially. So in this case, anybody can use my work commercially also. But here, when we are writing here NC means non-commercially. In that case only work will be used, but commercial that work cannot be commercially used. So this is the difference between CC by and CC by NC. So this is the most accommodating license offered, and it is recommended for the maximum dissemination and use of the license material. So means we have giving the whole rights to others of our creation, our work. So these open licensing, these different types of the licensing has make the contents are easy to use and free to use, and they are making our content popular for the audience and other uh, customer and fraternity of the audience also. So Creative Commons license attribution share alike, SA share alike. Again, I am explaining the same thing. So in case of the share alike, you can see here again when we have been this share alike. So it allow modify other to work, modify your work. So they can copy, distribute, display, perform as well as modify our work. So you can see here this license others to remix, tweak, build upon your work, even commercially purpose, as well as they can credit you and license their new creation under the initial identical terms, and often com- compared to copy left free open source software or license. So in case of open source software license, this is happen in case of the open source software also. So all new work based on yours will carry the same license. So any derivatives will also allow commercial use, and this is the license used by the Wikipedia. Suppose I have given this right, so anybody can reproduce then its content, and he can take another license of after changing the original content, and he can take another license of this. So this is by and SA. CC by, basically it has CC and by and SA share alike. Now you can see here NC, non-commercial, share alike as well as non-commercial. So share alike and non-commercial. Here in case of the share alike, they can modify the content, and non-commercial, but further it cannot be used commercially. So but in this case it can be further used commercially, and the other person which is modifying the data, he can take another license also, take his own license also, but in this case it cannot be commercially used. This license lets remix, tweak, build upon our your work non-commercially, as long as they credit you and license their new creation under the identical terms. So these are the differences, and finally we have been this one also. So by NC and D. So this is also one of the category by NC and ND. So this is the sign BY, this is the sign of BY, this is the sign non-commercially. So this is not allowed, dollar sign is there. So this is dollar is not allowed, means commercial is not allowed. And the non-derivative, non-derivative means you can see in this one also, and original copy. You have to use the original copy of the thing. You cannot change them accordingly. So this license is most restrictive license, means we cannot change the previous one, the which is initiator and creator has given the copy. You cannot change the copy, and you cannot create commercially use that copy. So this is most restrictive. It means we cannot commercially use, and as well as we cannot change the original copy of the um, uh, content. So the only allowing other to download your work and share them others, as long as they credit you. As long as they credit you must have to remind this all fact also. So if anybody is remembering you, then he or she will use, but otherwise he will not use. But they cannot change them in any way or use them commercially. So these are the facts regarding this. And Creative Commons license attribution non-commercial. This is also a kind of licensing. This license lets other remix, tweak, build upon your works non-commercially, and although they knew work must also acknowledge you, and means the work they should credit you. And be commercial, be non-commercial, they don't have to license their derivative work on the same terms. So these are the different licensing. And finally we have been this buy and the non-derivative. So license allow redistribution commercial, buy and ND means, here you can see here, ND original copy. Buy is the CC license require others who use your work in any way must attribute you, must give you credit, must reference the work and giving you the credit. If they are giving you the credit, then it means buy. And ND means they will use only original copy, they cannot change the copy. So finally this one is buy and ND means someone is using your content, he will credit you, and he will never change your content, he will use as it is, as you have uploaded the content on the web. So directly they will use your content. So this licensing allowed redistribution commercial and non-commercial, as long as it is passed along the unchanged. So here it is written unchanged and in whole with credit to you. So they will write the reference where it has been taken. So they will always credit us, and but they will not change the content, original content, in any form. So these are the different licensing type. So finally we can see these are the 6 different type of the licensing. So under these licenses we can contribute our content on the web, and we can generate our content on web. So this is all about the open licensing. So and under these licensing we can use the content of any open repository. And in the next slide and next lecture I will discuss about how to use the content from the open licensing. uh, so again you can see in the next lecture we will discuss about the searching open educational resources and how to use these open educational resources. So this is all about regarding this open licensing. So I hope that you understand all the fact, and you have enjoyed this lecture. So guys, thank you very much, thank you again.